All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Of course, yesterday, the Oscar nominations came out. Inexplicably, and I'm not going to rant about it, probably one of the most mediocre, forgettable films I've seen in a while, Emilia Perez, got 13 nominations. It's not a good movie, folks. Anyway, that aside, there were the expected every year when the Oscar nominations come out, the call of snub. Who got snubbed? And there were two major ones. I talked about this on Open Mic last night a little bit. One of them was Superman not getting nominated for Best Documentary. And a lot of people are upset about that. Now, the grain of salt we got to take with that is most people who are calling that a snub haven't seen any of the actual nominated documentaries. I've only seen one. I've seen Porcelain War. That's it. I have not seen the other four. So my point about Superman was I am not in a position to say Superman got snubbed because I didn't see those other films to say that they were definitively worse than Superman. Yeah. And that is my challenge to my fellow film fans, because I bet 95% of my fellow film fans have not seen any of those documentaries either. Anyway, but the snub. And remember, I only qualify snub as somebody who I believe not only should be nominated, but legitimately has a shot to win. If there's somebody that could have got a nomination, but we all know they wouldn't have won, I don't call that a snub. A snub should be used, the word snub should be used in the most extreme circumstances. But the snub was the lack of the name Denis Villeneuve for the name for Best Director. And that's the one that now, it is not as egregious as when Ben Affleck didn't get nominated for Best Director after he won Best Director at the Directors Guild Awards and his damn movie won Best Picture at the Academy Awards, and yet he didn't get nominated for Best Director. I'll never understand that. So that one was worse. But this might be second to me. The absolute jaw-dropping cinematic masterpiece that he did with this Dune movie, and for him to not get nominated, it to me is crazy, especially when the director of a subpar movie did get nominated. That to me is crazy. But listen, we all have those, right? I have them, you have them. Doesn't mean other people think so as well. But apparently I'm not the only one who thought the Denis Villeneuve lack of a nomination is puzzling. Headlines like this one. It seems everyone in Hollywood is backing Denis Villeneuve after his Oscar snub, including Spider-Verse's Chris Miller, who said, "There were many films that had great directing this year, but what Denis did was masterful." And we talked a little bit the other day about Josh Brolin went out and said, "I guess I'm retiring from acting because this makes no sense." I talked to a friend of mine at one of the major trades, I'm not going to say which one, last night, who said the whole industry right now is talking about this. What this friend of mine told me was everybody understood, as I did, as you guys did too, going into Oscar season, that recency bias, Dune 2 wasn't getting the full attention that it deserved. But he said everybody in the industry completely kind of expected that when the nominations came out, Denis Villeneuve's name was going to be on there. And it wasn't. Not that everybody was expecting him to win, but everybody was expecting that name to be on there. And this friend of mine at this major trade said, this is what the industry's talking about today, is everybody's confounded and confused about how he didn't get nominated for that. Now, does this somebody wrote to me and says, "John, does this delegitimize the Oscars for you?" No. Listen, it's 7,000, diverse and different people with diverse and different opinions, going through a preferential ballot process of creating a list of nominees and blah, blah. And hey, stuff like that can happen. It can happen. It's not the end of the world. But just because it's not the end of the world doesn't mean that it wasn't a mistake. And it was a mistake. And even people in the industry are coming out and talking about it now. Anyway, Chris, I know you are not as big of a Dune fan as say I am or some other people are. And even though the momentum with Dune seemed to not be all that strong with the rest of the award season stuff, were you surprised to see that Denis Villeneuve was not nominated for director? How did you see that? Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, PrizePicks. Are you guys like me, both a movie and a sports fan? Well, if so, then you know that the playoffs are here and it's now or never. If you love football and want to add some real excitement to the games, let me tell you about PrizePicks, the best place for your daily fantasy sports. So here's how it works. It's super simple. You just pick more or less on player projections. Think Patrick Mahomes will throw more than 1.5 touchdowns this week, or maybe Lamar Jackson will get over 250 passing yards. Make your picks in less than a minute and take your shot at winning up to 1,000 times your cash. Ann and I have been having a blast using PrizePicks every weekend. It's simple, it's fun, and it just makes watching the games that much more exciting. Plus, PrizePicks puts you first. With easy, fast, secure withdrawals, you can get your winnings in as little as 15 minutes, and they make deposits even easier. And right now, if you sign up today, you get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. So don't wait. Download the app today and use the code Campea to get $50 instantly after playing your first $5 lineup. That's right, play for just $5 and you get a $50 bonus instantly. PrizePicks, run your game.
Oh, very. I was very surprised. And like you said, this is not the movie that I am obsessed with like so many other people. This franchise, I think, is very well executed and very beautiful and interesting, but it's not something that I continually gravitate towards. But objectively, these are really well done movies. And the second film makes me not hate the first movie. I know you guys, I know you get annoyed with it, but it was for me boring Tremors. And that second film, I went, okay, I get this now a bit more. If I had seen the two together, if this had been a little closer, or maybe we had a little bit from movie 2 and movie 1, I would have probably liked this a lot more. But that is to say, this film objectively ticks a lot of boxes on what great filmmaking is. I know we talk about the subjectivity of films all the time, but this one, I think universally, even if you do not fully love the movie, like myself, you can go, but that is an incredibly well-made film. And there is such a maestro behind it. And for Denny to not be nominated was really shocking to me, because I feel like this movie, too, just encompasses what Hollywood films are capable of.
Yeah.
And I find it very, very jarring that he's not on the list. That one really, really was bonkers to me.
I still to this day, I know this is slightly off topic. I still to this day I don't know what happened with the Ben Affleck thing when he did Argo.
Oh, that was wild.
Like literally, he wasn't just nominated in every other award ceremony. He won every other award ceremony. He was like, again, the biggest one, the Directors Guild of America. He won Best Director of the Year for Argo. Argo was nominated and won Best Picture of the Year, and yet he wasn't nominated. Listen, if you guys want to know more, I actually produced a video a number of years ago when I was back at Complex and Collider about how the preferential ballot stuff works, and it's an intricate process. But clearly there is some way that certain names fall through the cracks in the preferential ballot system that I don't know if that's goes to do with it. But anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, maybe you think there was a bigger snub at the Oscars this year. I think this is the biggest one on my radar, but whatever you think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.